really interesting. Wow. Yeah, really interesting how he considered the fold so heavily because people just under bluff in these $400 tournaments. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what are his bluffs? You know, like if we really think about it, like sure, ace high has some showdown value if you had ace five, and when he raises the turn with maybe some backdoor diamond draw or something like that, he actually gets called. And on this kind of board, like what hands do you have that you're folding?
And it's gonna have some misdraws and things too. So I think calling is the only option myself. Let's see if Boogaloo got away from it. Ooh, call is 6.
So this is close between call.
Really interesting. So call is 6, raise is 7,500 is 10 points. And I'm going to say he said that because this is a very bad player. And so he thinks the very bad player is going to stack off here with worse queens a lot. I'm going to guarantee that's what he's going to say. Very interesting, though. I thought call for sure was the right answer. I never am in this spot. I don't know. Interesting spot, too. I think this is a little bit of a lesson for everyone out there, too. A lot of times, the hands we want to float with, like this one, are better as raises. So this kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, and he was kind of an echo chamber for us there, saying, you know, we just get better hands to call and worse to fold.
Yep.
Like he's going to have some gut shots in his range. He's going to have spade draws. He's going to have king X. And we kind of know, we kind of identify kind of what cards are going to be bad for us on future streets, and we're aware how to proceed on those cards.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a very good point. You right.
That was the best. You didn't say anything. You won. Just straight up.
You won. I'm just
All right, so ooh, look at this. You're not opening this. You just looked at this. You're not opening.
Button cut off, hijack, low jack, under the gun one. You are right.
Come on now. Okay. I am. So let's see if he.
He's got to open it, or there wouldn't be a hand.
It would
I'm
be a
already
quit.
down on points.
You're already down on points in real life. Now, obviously, you're gonna cheat, but
I'm gonna evolve.
you're gonna adapt, right?
All right, let's play it.
I'm going to cry if he says he's folding here. Like, if he's like, yeah, you should be folding this in this kind of tournament, and you were actually right. All right, cool.
Wah, wah.
Like a spot where we have
Ah!
standard.
Yes.
And the reason is because queen.
I just want to say for the record, that this is the best 3-point score I've ever gotten in my life. Because the right answer was fold.
The right. But you heard what he said about the tables. This is a 3K.
Here comes the excuses. 10
The
points
excuses
fold.
to
It says
open
right
if your
here.
table is particularly tight and weak. Welcome to the $5 2K world. I mean, the $11 10K. I'm opening this, yeah, for sure.
This is the best 3 points of my life.
Oh, that's hilarious. And everybody's 50.
nailed it. What the hell kind of play is that from King Queen? Who does that?
Who the hell? Yeah, so Mad Dog.
Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I
Just
always love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
Right. All right, guys, this is it.
What's up, Mike? You want to give a gist? He was saying Narco Cop was playing about deep-pipping about 28% of hands. He had been very aggressive in this $10 buy-in, and here are the options to fold, to call, to raise to 1,200, raise to... What? Wait a minute, he made it 800, and my man's giving options to 12 and 1,400 ounces. So it's already getting kind of spicy. That's so nasty. To be on a site with these other crushers, well-known poker public figures is pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't mention that when I was kind of giving a little intro here too. Assassinato, Matt Affleck, John Little, all coaches on the site, so very highly respectable, quality poker content.
Yep, Evan Jarvis as well. Remember Evan Jarvis, Matt Affleck, Assassinato, John Little.
Yeah, so I guess that just makes sense. He just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought
many
that was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, you know, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know.
Calling, guys. Let's see if we're good.
Similar situation as pre-flop. I think pre.
All right, guys, we're checking, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake.
One of the things I see people when it comes to poker is when you can get to the turn and there's an opportunity.
When you're facing a min raise or just a touch more than a min raise, and there's an ante in play, which is going to be the case in most tournaments, I think, going forward, you want to defend pretty wide. If your opponent's making a 2.
All right, cool. You're going 1,400.
I'm going 1,400, guys.
I'm gonna go call with the arm and just see what happens.
All right, and
I would fold in game though, for the record, in case that's the winning end.
You won. You win. I have to concede. You win.
14K.
14K, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Well, no, we cannot win. This is a pretty rough spot because damn it.
Mm-hmm. Where do you gonna get my chat? They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol, you know.
All right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR giveaway.
$10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. Sorry. No, we'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then, you know, we'll do it. We'll do it every week a couple times.
So it's a tie.
I guess we got to give out $10 to each other's communities. We'll just do our own $10 free roll for each. Or does that sound fair?
Yes. You know what this means.
You win. I give his chat $10. Take it.
So that's cool because we have 2 ties and then a win from you and a win from me. This is like the epic battle. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, we're even Stevens.
This is awesome.
Take it.
I love it.
You know,
Stop. We got a giveaway going. Let's run the giveaway for the $10 ACR winner. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner. My man Sebs are getting the $10 ACR giveaway for this one. Oh shit. Let me fix the cameras. I was half prepared. Give me a second to get it together. There we go. Turn off Six's name. Where's Six's name? There we go. We're live. What's happening? How y'all doing? It's Saturday. Here by ourselves today. Six is playing live at the MSPT. Trying to get that live juju going. How you doing? How you doing, Julian? Manan? Praying. What up, 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 what up? Siraxel, what up? How you doing? Mike, thanks for the 26 months. I appreciate you. Main Clan, how you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome. What's up, guys? What's up? This is Puck Coaching Study Stream. Hey, 25 months for Pucks. Thanks, buddy. Here's the exclamation point PC for where you can sign up to Poker Coaching for free. Get big blind heights for 100 blinds or more, 20 or so quizzes and homework assignments. There you go. Matt, and thanks for the sub too, guys. Fucking legends. Holy shit.
there's that. Poker coaching in the chat. Type in poker coaching in the chat. The way this is going to work is I'm going to pick one of you guys to compete against another one of you guys. Whoever gets the highest point on the quiz against the other contestant wins $5. It's just that simple. So you can gamble on getting better at gambling. We're going to do this quiz 1841 with Mr. Tristan Wade. I'm a little disheveled, like already. Lost already, says S'more. Easy game. Easy game. You take the quiz. And you get to compete against other people taking the quiz. And then you win $5. Oh, shit. See? See how easy that is? Don't read chat. I'm lucky. I would say way more often than not, chat is nice to me. One time I was playing against this guy who was super spazzy. And he opened, and I just like ripped 50 bigs with ace king because he was calling crazy. He was madness. And then he called me with some wackadoo hand, and he ended up winning whatever. And he put in the chat, he's like, I only called because I hate that guy. Which I thought was fucking hysterical. I thought it was the best thing ever. The best thing ever. You know, if that happens, you're doing your job, right? Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right, guys, we got a bunch of people in there with the poker coaching. I put in the code for poker coaching. You can check that out. Also, poker coaching Discord while we're waiting for people to get in here. Check that out. It is absolutely free. There are 6 study groups a week, including this stream. They're all recorded. You can check out the replays. There's hand history rooms for cash and MTT. There's tons of stuff in there. So check that out. Absolutely free. And I see the show commands. So let's do it. Like, you know, like I always say, they do pay me to say this, but I would say it anyways. It's amazing. For absolutely free. The best content you can get for absolutely free. Go check out the Discord. There's the link. All right. Looks like poker coaching has kind of started to trickle down. Let me get my shit together. We got the hype train is close. Get rid of that. Not even a mod. It's true. You're getting no respect. No respect, playing. All right, cool. Draw number 1. Bang. GSD. Legend. GSD is going to be playing against... Bang! The usual. Just contrast. Milking me. $5 at a time, playing the long con, trying to get me broke. All right, cool. So what's going to happen is that I am going to play the quiz. We'll have GSD here on the main screen. I'm going to keep track of contrast score off screen here because I can only have one up. And the score on top might be a little weird. It might not be accurate because when I play a quiz on 2 different browsers at the same time, they conflict in the score. So I got my trusty notepad right here. I'll be keeping the scores to make sure we get it. And whoever wins $5. Let's go. Both you guys legends, you know what's up. Good luck there, GSD. All right, let's do this.
Tristan Wade here for Poker Coaching. Another hand from $500 WSOP Circuit main. In this hand, blinds are 350, 700, folds around to the cutoff. Who calls? The button also calls. The small blind folds, and action is on us. What should we do here? Should we check? Should we raise to 2,500? Or should we go all in?
A bunch of limpers and a $500 buy-in. What are we doing? What are we doing? See a flop? F these limpers. 30 bigs deep. This guy limped on like 15-ish or so. Maybe a little less. Poker coaching check. Dennis, what's up, buddy? Oh, GSD raising. Some more raising. Some more off the charts. Raising less than the options here. Move this over here. Schwab and shoot what's up. Cool. Datafly here says praying. This hand flops well. See a lot. Don't put the pot out of position. Got to be in the cutoff makes me hesitant. I don't know this particular guy. I don't know anybody at those tables Chugs, I do play on this site because I am also in Nevada. And I would say this site has more people who just limp than any other site I've ever seen. Like, you'll often get 5 and 6 limps on this site. So this is not uncommon. Main client says check. Limping 12. This is true. Limping 12 is often going to be a trap, but it might not necessarily be a trap here. We don't have any reads, though. So when there's no reads, I'm going to assume trap is possible. Shadow Knight checking. Welcome. What is Contrast doing? Where's Contrast? Boop, 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 C stars. Contrast checking. So we are already going to part ways right out the gate. This is a decent equity hand for sure. Yeah, for me, I would definitely be checking. It's like Praying said, this hand flops really well. And I would be slightly hesitant without any read at all against the first limper on the stack size as well. If this guy was an habitual, I think I would always just check this. Like, I really want to see a flop with this. And not blow the pot out of position, I think. I think check is probably got to be the best answer. Raising 1250, not the greatest option. S'more. It's just that it's like a min raise. You're just going to always get called twice, always be out of position in a bloated pot. That's not good. You want to go 2,500 at a minimum. What would I do here? 21. I would even go bigger. Like, I think it should be 3K, 3,500. Right? 3X because you're here plus 1,400. Right? Sounds about right. So even 2,500 feels kind of small. And jamming is just unnecessary for 30 bigs here, I think. So I think check is the right answer. GSD going to raise here, though. We're going to see what's up. And Contrast check-in. Let's find out.
Okay, kind of interesting spot. We have 12 big blind stack limping here on the cutoff. A big stack on the button, not wanting to isolate, which I find is fairly going to be pretty weak here. I think a lot of suited aces and small pairs would just want to raise and race against this stack size. So what do we do here with this beautiful hand? Checking, I think, is the best option because of our other options being raised to 2,500. I give that 6 points. What do we do if we make it 2,500 and this person goes all in? We got to call. And just might not be the best spot. Next option, going all in ourselves. I give you 3 points for the spirit. I don't think we have too many hands that are just going to be pure shoves here at this point. Maybe I'm not sure. But this hand might have enough equity to do so if we wanted to shove 35 bigs here or what have you. But way obscene. So we do check, and we get this flop. Our default is a check. We check over to the button who bets 700 into the pot. What should we do now? Should we fold? Should we call? Should we raise to 2,000 or should we go all in?
I love 3 points for the Moxie. I love it. All right, so we get a good flop. We get a bunch of hearts. Tristan doesn't use 4-color deck, which I find interesting. What are we doing here? Main client says call. Praying likes to call with the equity. Thinks cutoff is still uncapped. Dennis call, Contrast call, GSD call, Axel. Everybody calling. Shadow Knight call. Jerome call. Everybody call. We got our 2 contestants. Give you another couple seconds here. Chutzpah. Oh, can't see the options. My bad. Sorry about that. That's my bad. That better? Okay, there you go. That's better. Considering the limits here, just folding, says some more chips. What are you doing, Matt? Now that you can see the sizes, sounds like you were thinking about raising. $2K for stars. He's not scared. Colin in the middle says pucks. Most recent almost Grizzly champion, Mr. Pucks and Poker. Congratulations. Yeah, for me, fuck. So when this guy, it's kind of like what I would be raising here, 2,000. We raise a lot of our flush draws here in the big blind heads up, like you guys said. This hand is really hard for them to hit. Like it's hard for them to have a king, because it's the most of them are out of the deck. And like we said, like when this guy chooses not to ISO the short stack limper, he's gonna be marginal as hell. And now he's out here paying one blind. If you said call, I think call is decent also. But this is so weak. We don't have showdown value. We can get a lot of folds now. And we have a ton of equity. So I would definitely go toward raising. We can never fold here, especially for one big, regardless of the buy-in level. So yeah, I mean, we have to continue. We have way too much equity. I would raise here. Try and get some fold equity as well. I'd be more calling here with like my better flush draws. I don't know, something like Queen Jack suited or Ace X suited. Here, our flush is a little bit on the weird side, so you tend to raise these lower once more. I would be raising, but I think, let's see, GSD called and Contrast both called. Let's find out. Only getting called by better if we have the nut advantage. I mean, I would say we're getting called by, quote, better right now. Like when we check raises, they're going to have a 7X, and they're going to have things like 8s and 9s and 10s and things that they limped. Right? And they might have some king. That's true. But we always have the safety net of having the hearts. So, and then you have to have like 8s and stuff like that or a 7. We have 2 overs to the 7 as well. So we have a fuckload of equity. You know? Both contestants calling though. Let's find out.
Okay.
Tristan likes raising.
Pretty decent flop for us. We do have 10 high, but we have flopped a flush draw. And this person who limped behind with a pretty weak range has bet the minimum. So calling is for sure a thing here. If you just wanted to call, you could, and I give you 7 points for that. Folding is not an option, and raising here I really like to be the best option. I give you 10 points if you want to make it 2,000. Now, I don't think we need a big raise size here. This is a landlocked kind of board, and we're going to get a lot of folds. Sure, a 7's not going to fold, another heart draw is not going to fold, and the king's not going to fold, but just about everything else will. So I think that's why we just want to do a small raise here. I understand that we can just get it all in against a short stack, but we're facing a 55K big stack here too. So that's why I think it's helpful to kind of thin the range now. Get your value for your flush draw here where we have 2 pulls rather than, just check calling and maybe having to check call another bet with 10 high. I'm not a huge fan of that strategy. So yeah, small raise is just good here where we don't need to have a big raise size. So, and going all in should just never be a thing either. But we do put in the raise to 2K, and we get the flat call from the limper on the cutoff, and the button original better folds. So now there's 7,600 in the pot. Our opponent has 6,000. Turn, pairs the board. What should we do now? Should we check? Should we bet 2,000? Or should we go all in?
Hey, also a couple shout outs here. Albatross, thank you for the 25 months. My man, thank you, buddy. Stricklenor, thank you for the follow. Addy Bumbaddy, screen name of the day, thank you for the follow. Shadow Knight, Matt and Poker, and thank you for the follows. Main client, thank you for the follow as well. All right, we got it. We got everybody. So yeah, is there an argument to calling to keep the cutoff in? I mean, I don't think calling is the worst option. I think it's just the second best option. We do a lot of good by folding out, like, random Queen Jack, random Ace X, right? Ace 8, we do a great job of folding. Ace 10, Ace 9, we fold out, which is fantastic, right? So we get all of that extra juice plus the fact that limps and this call is marginal at best, usually. And we have a safety net of if we hit a heart, an 8, a jack. Praying did a good job of listing all of the hands. A 6, a queen, all pick up equity, right? All good things. Yep. But the limpy collie guy limpy collied us. What the hell? Now what do we do? When we check raise, and hard to get paid on a flush board, kind of. I mean, when the flush play comes in, people are still going to continue with their players. I think at least one street. But here you also get to bloat the pot a little bit, right? When we do hit the flush, which is fantastic. And like I said, not only do we get that, but getting folds now is not a bad thing. You have 0 showdown. Exactly. You're never going to win if it checks. And it's going to be weird to start betting on later streets. Or if you check and start getting hammered on, it gets ugly that way too, right? So yeah, just cleanest by raising. Lots of checks. I see lots of checks. Jerome needs clean underwear and checking. Lots of checks. GSD claiming the 5th. You got to pick this time. You can't claim the 5th this time. We need a score. 2K, he says. He's like, oh, piss. How did we get here? Jesus criminy. So uncomfortable. Sir Axel checking. You can't just open folds more. Julia going 2K. Contrast, what are you doing? You can't open folds more. You have to, if you're going to fold, you have to check. Contrast. Says all in. Feels like he's got a small pair. And we can still get there and pick up the pot. Okay. So 1 all in, 1 2K. I am checking. Absolutely checking. I mean, this guy limped and then called a check raise on this board. You should be very scared on this stack depth that he's got a pair of some sort. Now the board's double paired. We could just be fucking owned. Even if we get there, we could be dead. I would be checking for sure. If this checks down and he's got the small pair, and limpy collies aren't usually going to start turning things like that into a bluff. Sometimes they will, obviously. But most of the time, limpy collies and passive players are going to be limpy collie and passive, right? Otherwise, we don't have them tagged correctly. So, and we beat 5s and 6s now, right? You're never getting 8s to fold. You're never getting 9s to fold. You're never getting 10s to fold. And he still has some King X too, and some 7X, right? So I would definitely be checking. 2K for GSD and all in for contrast. Let's find out. I mean, he's got less than half a pot, but again, like, what are your... It's not only that, like, what are you... I would fold to the jam. Yes, absolutely. He's going to bluff me. He's going to bluff me on this board. Absolutely would fold to a jam. This hand is showing a lot of strength by not showing any strength. Especially when it goes bet and then raise multi-way. Like, this is bet and raise multi-way. So that being said, like, this guy fucking shouldn't have 5s and 6s and stuff a lot. Like, if you would think with a bet and a raise, 5s and 6s would just fold, which makes him even more King and 7X heavy. Right? Let's find
Okay.
out. What did I do? Oh, I tried to replay the video. GSD said 2,000. Contrast went all in. Check 10 points.
Okay, not the turn card we wanted to see. An 8, we could keep bluffing. A 6, we could keep bluffing.
Goosed
A
for
9
the
or
all-in.
10 might give us the best hand. A heart might give us the best hand. So this was not the one we wanted to see. If they have a king, we are now drawing dead. So checking is my best option here. If you wanted to bet 2,000, I'm kind of interested. Like, do we just get all the better flush draws to fold with a bet of 2,000? You know, Jack high, Queen high. Ace high. Is ace high always calling another bet here of 2,000? I don't really think we get anything to fold with a bet of 2,000, but it's interesting. Just ponder, and then going all in. I just feel is a losing situation as well. When we do go all in, we're just dead here, and we could still get called by like ace x of hearts and that kind of hand, which would be really in bad shape too. So I think we just have to check. So we check, and our opponent checks. Okay, the river, ace of diamonds, great. What should we do now? Should we check? Should we bet 2,000 or go all in?
Now, this is where things get weird. This is where things get weird. What the hell am I doing now? That's a weird card. Check for some more. I think this is the first time I've ever seen Contrast get goose-egged in a quiz. And says, you're playing the board so often here. Do you force him to call for the chop? And if you rip, do you ever get folds? I mean, check him up, says Dennis. I have some thoughts on that, Brandon, but I want to give people a chance to answer. GST don't give a fuck. Fuck your pair eights. That's what he says. He be jamming. Mike checking. Ascension checking. What are you doing, Contrast? I don't like this at all. Yeah, that's an interesting card. All in for Contrast, all in for GSD. They're both jamming. There's a weird spot for me. Fuck, man. I would be lying if I said I didn't check fold this on some frequency. I also kind of think betting has some appealing nature now because we check raise and now we're betting on this card. Like, kind of scary. Now hands like pocket eights and nines and tens like are shook, right? And we can't show down. We can't check and face a jam. Although I don't think he's jamming his ace X here, right? Probably just check it back on a double paired board when we check raised. I think we're going to check the boat a different amount. Damn. But we have no showdown. Feels like an auto bluff because we have no showdown. And I also think, like, if we bet 2K, can pocket eights call? Like, I think 2K is scarier than all in. I think I would probably bet 2K if I had a king or a 7. And not jam, because I think if a jam potentially get some aces to fold. I'm kind of leaning 2K, but I think that might be fancy play syndrome. Why would cut off limp ace X with 12 bigs? Why would cut off limp with 12 bigs with any hand? Right? And so, like, they're going to limp suited ace sometimes for sure. They're going to limp ace 5 suited for sure. Yeah. Yeah, man, I think I'm leaning 2K because we have no showdown. This is a tough one. This one got weird on the river. I was smashing this until we got to the river. River's super tough. Excuse me. Both players jamming, though. I don't think we need to jam, though, because when we jam, now we're only getting called by a king or a 7. But if we bet 2K, we could probably get those 8s to fold. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. Thought Toe didn't allow limps. I don't think he should have limped. But I'm not certainly ISOing all the limpers, right? Interesting. All right, let's find out. Both players jammed. Let's find out. Check.
If you checked again, congratulations. You passed the test of discipline. Just joking, but maybe.
Just joking,
I like
but
checking
maybe.
here. Like I said, they have a king. They could have a 7. They could have ace-x of hearts. What do we really get to fold here? I don't
Check
know.
it out.
You know, it sucks to just give up the pot. We have 10
This guy's
high. We're
showing a
playing
lot
the
of strength.
board. But, like, what else can we do here? So, I think since this was a multi-way spot, we're just
I
up
wonder what
against a
2K
really
was worth.
tight range from the
Find
flop and hard to keep bluffing here. So
He hated
if
it.
you check, great. If you bet 2,000, like I said, maybe there's some kind of merit to that where we can get something to fold, but at this point it would all tie us anyways. So that's a little weird. And then going all in, it could be a good bluff, but again, I just don't think we win this spot, like hardly ever. So yeah, I do end up checking. They go all in.
The thing
Must
about it is,
fold.
like, we do
But,
win the pot hardly ever.
you
But we
know,
lose it
possibility
100%
I got
when we check.
bluffed if they have like 5-6 of hearts or 6-8 of hearts. Those are some of the hands I can beat, but other than that, I think I'm in pretty bad shape here. So hopefully this hand was a good one for you. We tossed that in the muck on the river and moved on.
Yeah, I mean, I can see some argument for the 2K. Checking is like I said, I wouldn't be lying if I said I didn't check him up on some frequency. The thing about the betting 2K is we win sometimes, very small percentage, but we lose 100% when we check, right? Interesting. But flop is great. Check raise is great. Turn check, awesome. All good. Combined score. So GSD got 6-7, 3 deuce, which is a total of, what is that, 14, 13, 14, 15, 18. And Contrast got 17, 19. He eked him out by 1 point. Contrast. Getting it done. Getting it done. Getting it done. This was a fun one. Interesting one right off the bat. All right. Let me pick a new keyword for 2 new contestants. Keyword is no 6-6. That was a good one. That was a fun, interesting one, for sure. If you're raising the flop, you're jamming the turn, that's a big mistake, Contrast. You're only getting called by a king or 7. You're losing 100% of the time when you call. No, the number 6-6, like Pucks did. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's it. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to pick another quiz. Yeah, jamming the turn, definitely not a good one. And we should be checking our boats, too. We're just going to get folds a lot. When we have a value hand, and then when we have a bluff, we're just getting called by better every single time, right? Like, and our flush is dead. We don't even have the little safety net, right? So you got to be careful. We already did Tristan, so I don't want to do Tristan twice. I'm trying to go to the bottom here and fill in some of these gaps because I'm nicer than 6 is. He don't give a fuck. He does the best ones even when I'm gone. But we're a better man than him. So we're going to try and find some of this lower stuff. Ooh, I'm thinking cash game. I'm thinking some Evis Jarvis. Let's do that. A little 1-2 action. Where's it? Oh, what up, Kitty? You guys heard her and I didn't because I have the headphones on. What are you sniffing around? What are you sniffing around, Kitty? Right, Julian? She fucking bombed me out last time. Holy shit. I mean, doesn't everybody do that, Albatross? Isn't that like just standard practice of a married man? I thought that was just standard practice. All right, let's run this. Contestant number 1. Bang. Uh-oh. It's Pucks. Bringing in the legends. Pucks going up against... Still running hot. That's true. Jerome, this is going to be a fun one. You won the giveaway from me last night, too. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, quiz 1857 is what we're going to do. Let me get 1857 on this other one real quick. 1857, I said. All right, a little 1-2 action. Let's do this.
Hello, Poker Coaching members. Evan Jarvis here for PokerCoaching.com, and today we are going to be reviewing an online cash game hand. We're switching from the live streets to the online streets. This is from a three-handed 1-2 no limit hold'em game that I played over on 888 Poker, where we get ourselves into a deep stack draw lemma. The hand starts with a fold from Little Dumper. That was the mark in the game. And we are sitting 200 big blinds deep, blind versus blind with ace 6 of clubs against a little bit of a splashy McSplasherton. So, action's on you. What should you do? Should you fold, call, raise to 6, or raise to 10?
We don't die, we multiply.
Bubba Booey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. How much I said we should, Shark Scope on which site? Definitely ACR. You gotta go ACR for that one. Puck, you thought I was gonna make it easy on you? No, no, no. Playing a little 1-2. Gets to us in a small blind. What are we doing? Puck's going 6 right away. Jerome says, cash I fold. From the small blind. With a suited ace. It's more off the charts again. Bruh. Shadow Knight 6. Lots of 6. You guys aren't scared by the cash quiz. Look at this. I'm going to bring up something. Trillion 6. My Chico rating is 93. My wife's standing behind me. Fuck my life. Nice. 6 for both. 6 for both. Rage now. We're bumping him up to 6. He's close enough. 6 too strong. This is going to be interesting. I'm going to show you a little something. This is where cash and tournaments are very, very different right here. Ugly ace, but it's suited. And it's blind versus blind, so this ugly ace becomes way higher in value. And this is interesting. Puck's kind of nailed it. So in tournaments, 100 bigs deep and up, look at our limping strat in the small blind. Even ace is limping this ungodly amount. I can't see what percent this is, but let's say it's roughly 90% or so, right? Like almost a full limping strategy. This is 80 right here in the charts, but as you go deeper, this gets more and more limpy in tournaments, right? In cash game, Puck's nailed it, and a lot of you guys nailed it. There are no limps. It's raise only strat. And look, just folding some of these weaker offsuit aces. So it's definitely gonna be raise 6. So it's interesting how the strat's different when you have to deal with tournament life and blinds going up and all that kind of stuff. So no calls. No calls. And pure equity aggro and cash, absolutely. It's because of the rake, and it's because of the rake, yeah. Can this change depending on the rake structure? That's a good question that you should ask a guy like Evan Jarvis in the Discord, !PC Discord. I don't play much cash. I play a little bit of cash, but I am mostly a tournament expert. I've studied a little bit of cash, but I'm definitely not the cash game player by nature. So I'm not sure how the rake affects that. If you post it in Discord, though, I will make sure to get you an answer by someone who is more qualified to answer the rate question. But yeah, I mean, you'll see that a lot from all positions in, like if you're playing 6 max cash, it is a mostly a razor fold strategy in a lot of spots. Rake only further disincentivize limping, says Bubba Booey. So there you go. Because the blinds are fixed, your focus is not to build a huge stack. Makes a lot of sense. Equity driven, right? So I'm going to say 6. You guys all said 6 too. Let's do it.
Well, we're certainly not going to be folding a hand as strong as ace-6 of clubs, blind versus blind. This is a premium hand. This is the kind of hand that we can make the nut flush with, and some top pairs and strong 2 pairs as well. Trips, top kicker, all the good things. So the question is, how do we want to play it? Well, between calling and raising, if we're 100 big blinds deep, GTO mixes between the two pretty much equally. At the deeper stack depth, because of the nut potential of ace-6 suited, there is a slight inclination to go with a 3x raise over a call, but the value of the two is very close. Raising to 10 is unnecessarily large, especially because we're going to be playing the pot out of position. We just want to build the pot a little bit while taking the lead and narrowing our opponent's range to hands that can, potentially give us some value post flop. In game, I decided to go with a limp approach just to play a little bit more defensively because we were deep stacked and I didn't want my opponent to be able to apply a crazy amount of pressure with 3 bets and large post flop bets. So raising to 3x, totally standard, maybe even slightly favored. We're going to go with a limp, and our opponent raises to 4x, which puts us in pretty much the same situation. So question now is, what should you do? Should you fold, call, or limp raise to 20?
So this is interesting. Evan mentions that raising the standard and the best play here. He chose the limp because this guy is Splashy McSplashton, so he's going away from GTO and exploiting the fact that this guy's going to be raising a lot and barreling a lot and check raising a lot and not folding pre a lot and going to make our lives hell on future streets. So that's the argument for that. Player dependent. Well, we know this is Splashy McSplasherton, so we have a read, right? Puck's calling. Everybody else calling. Julian calling. He's going away from the GTO strat. In this one. Everybody calm. I'm glad we're not playing a little dumper. He plays like shit. We want to play against a little dumper if he's going to dump his little chips all over the place. Everybody calling. Yeah, everybody calling. I think I would, if I had limped, I would more likely call. Because again, I think this guy's going to be sticky and we're bloated in the pot now on future streets. I think I would call. Calling seems to make sense with that. In a tournament, I would certainly call. Everyone loves a dumper. There's a joke there. It's a missed opportunity for sure. All right, cool. Let's do it.
Now, the intention with this hand, especially at this stack depth, is to be playing a single raised pot at the largest pre-flop. We're looking to see the flop first, see if our hand can improve before we decide to commit more money to the pot. So limp re-raising is completely unnecessary. We would be bloating the pot to that very large size we were looking at with possibly making the 5x raise, but even larger in a spot where our opponent's probably not going to be folding and we're playing in oversized pot out of position. Folding is not in the works either. Our hand is much too strong, so we're going to go with the obvious option of call and take a flop out of position where we have 9-6-4, 1 club giving us the backdoor flush draw and 2 diamonds putting a flush draw out there as well. So the only difference between if we raised and he had called, we would have the betting lead post flop, but by limp calling he has the betting lead and the pot is a similar size. So we check, given that he has the betting lead, and our opponent bets 3/4 of the pot. Action's back on you. What should you do? Should you fold,
big bet,
call, check raise to 24, or check raise to 36?
Big ass bet. Everybody says, I don't give a fuck. Colin. Call. Oh, it isn't an option. I don't know what to do. Fuck this splashy guy. Ow, raising. Everybody else call him. Ascension on the ropes. Puck's calling. Jerome plead the fifth. Calling. Agreed. This pretty much seems like a clear call. This guy's splashy. It sucks that he sized up, but this is a coordinated board, so they might size up more. Plus, he sized up more in cash as well. Yeah, so I think call's the only option. Raising, not an option. We just push out worse. We have showdown value. He's uncapped as well. Still has overpair, 9x. Overs with a flush draw is ahead of us right now, even though if he had like king, queen of diamonds, it's like 54-45 or something like that. 55-45, something like that. He's slightly ahead. So I think call's the only option. Let's go.
So this is a decent flop for us. We flopped mid pair, top kicker, with a backdoor nut flush draw. There are a lot of good things going on for us in this hand, and we definitely do not want to be folding this hand at this stage in the game, at least. To me, calling is the most obvious option. We have a hand that has some good showdown value. We have some backdoor flush draw potential. If we probably have the best hand in terms of the fact that we connected with the board, and our opponent's going to have a lot of hands that did not connect with the board. It doesn't rule out the fact that he could have been dealt pocket pair pre-flop, where he does have a larger pair than us. So I prefer calling over raising, just because if we do raise and get called, now we're bloating the pot out of position in a spot where our opponent could already have us beat, and we possibly need to improve. But also, we're increasing the size of the pot in a situation where if our opponent calls, there are a lot of bad turn cards for us. 10 completes a straight, 5 completes a straight, any diamond completes a flush, any overcard is another possible larger pair than our sixes. So there are a lot of cards that can come that don't make us feel too comfortable about our hand, but our hand does have good showdown value and good backdoor flush draw potential. So that's why I like calling over both of the raise options. If we were going to go for a raise, I prefer raising to 36 over 24, so that we have a bit more fold equity and we have a better chance of getting our opponent to fold his, random
marginal main
overcards
hand.
like
We're getting
king,
a showdown.
queen, or jack 10 or something like that. The min raise just doesn't fold out anything, and it just increases the size out of position where we don't have more information about our opponent's hand, which is not an ideal spot to be in. So we go with a call. And the turn is a very nice card for us, deuce of clubs, which both gives us that backdoor nut flush draw we were rooting for, and is not an overcard to our pair of sixes. So we still have second pair as opposed to getting downgraded to third pair. We check, and Splashy McSplasherton now bets about half pot, $20.50 to a pot of 40. Action's back on you. What should you do? Should you fold, call, check raise to 65, or go all in?
This is an interesting one. Al going 65. Map calling. Praying calling. Dennis calling. Shadow raising. Ooh, we got a mix here. We got a mix of call and raise. More calls starting to stream in. Maggie calling. What's up, Maggie? Puck's calling. Julian calling. A lot of stations in this chat. Contrast raising. Jerome, what you doing? You can't say player dependent when we have a read that it's Splashy McSplasherton. We know what this player is. Showdown. All right, Boko is gone. Yeah, we probably just call here with a pair. If we had something like 7-10 of clubs, this becomes a raise. With the combo draw and the overs to the 6 and the over to the 9 and the combo draw with the clubs. Here with the pair, we have showdown value. Like we can't, I don't think we raise here. And it's not about being a calling station. Calling station would imply that we're calling with a hand. Like this is a pair. We should be calling with a pair. Just the correct way to play the spot. So yeah, I think it's pure call here. But again, with raising hands like 7-10 suited, that I would float with the gut shot and then raise here. 2 is a little weird too because it doesn't change the board texture all that much. For the big blind, this 2 would be more consequential because we would have more 3-5. Here we would never have 3-5. right? And Splashy's still uncapped. He can still have a hand here. But I think this is pure call. Let's find out.
So once again, we find ourselves in a very similar situation to the spot we found ourselves on the flop. Our hand is certainly too strong to be folding, having, again, still second pair, which may be the best hand based on its showdown value. But now, more importantly, we have that backdoor nut flush draw working for us in a spot where we're getting a very nice price. Our opponent has bet half the pot, giving us 3-1 on a call. On the merits of our flush draw alone, we would need 4-1 if we have no implied odds.
Right.
There's a good chance we have implied odds. Also, on top of that, we don't just have the flush draw with 9 outs working for us. We know almost for sure that the remaining 2 6s in the deck would give us the best hand with trips. And there's a pretty decent chance that those 3 aces would give us the best hand as well if we don't have it already. So that's 14 outs, and we are getting way better than enough pot odds to justify continuing based on that. So what about the other options? Check raising does have a little value in that we can put some pressure on top pair type hand. We can put some pressure on a draw. We could definitely fold out some overcards which have a little bit of equity against us. And if we decide to check raise, we're building the pot where if we do hit our hand, we can get maximum value. We can definitely, almost definitely stack our opponent or get a large amount of chips in the middle. If we make it 65 and he calls, we'll have about 200 in the middle and about 300 behind. So there's a decent chance we could get paid. Also, when we go for a check raise, if our opponent calls, he's going to have a pretty strong hand, which means our implied odds are there. We're basically investing in our implied odds by building the pot against a strong range of holdings, which could possibly pay us off when we improve because, you know, a flop set or 2 pair or over pair kings is not going to be as concerned about the backdoor flush draw. That being said, because of the fact that when we check raise, if our opponent has that strong hand and wants protection with it, may raise us back, that is the big problem with check raising to 65 here, is that if we raise and our opponent raises us again, not giving us the right price to draw, we may potentially get forced off this hand, and we have a hand that has very high implied odds, so we would like to see the river if possible. So those are the merits of check raising to 65. Going all in is just completely unnecessary. We're only going to get called when we're beat, and we're probably going to have about a 20% chance of winning, which is not the odds you're really looking to have when you're committing all your chips to the middle. And for that reason, we're going with a call. The river is the Yahtzee card, King of Clubs, giving us that backdoor nut flush draw. We check to our opponent, who now bets full pot, 81 into 81, and is sitting on 278 behind. So action's back on you. What should you do? Should you fold, call, raise to 240, or go all in?
All right, guys. Anybody doing anything but jamming? All in and feeling horny. Ruh-roh. You know what he's spending his winnings on. Maggie raising. Al raising like a click. Matt getting crazy and tricky, raising 240. Puck's jamming. Albatross raising. Actually, I do think a call is a one-round penalty. I think you're right? You're not allowed to call with the nuts? Are you allowed to call with the nuts? Fold. You do got to balance your folding range, Jason. There's a decent amount of raises in there, more than I expected. Axel jamming. Jerome, what are you doing? All in. 2 jams from the guys. Yeah, I mean, we just jam. We have the fucking nuts. Just jam. Definitely not clicking. You're losing mass value when you get called. Like, clicking not good. 240 is interesting, but I don't know what I would raise here, 240. And not jam. Like, I can't even think of a hand. This guy's got 278 in his stack. 240 is not an answer. Yeah, exactly, Dennis. Just jam. Just jam. Looks like we're going to be tied for a swish.
let's start by quickly going through the options we definitely know we're not doing. We're not going to be folding the nut flush on the river, and we're not going to be just calling with the nut flush on the river. If this were a live hand, we're
There you
playing a
go,
tournament, that would
for
give
a
us
water,
a penalty.
you're gonna
is
win this
how
by you have the
bad of a
nuts.
play that it
There's
is.
no
So bad you'd be going to the penalty box, missing an orbit. So the question is, what size do we want to
You
raise
do go in the
to?
penalty box for
Do
calling.
we want to raise to 240, going for another $160, leaving our opponent with about 100 left in their stack? Or do we want to go all in and go for everything? It's a conundrum for sure. If we were sitting 100, 150 big blinds deep, I'm pretty much always going for all of it. When we're sitting 200 plus big blinds deep, I just don't know enough about this player in terms of how conservative they'll be for calling their entire stack. So against, if we think our opponent has backed into a flush as well, there's a good chance we can get all the money here. If our opponent is bluffing, it doesn't matter what size we make it, they're certainly going to fold. If our opponent has something like 2-pair or a set though, and we go all in, he may fold those hands, but I think he would certainly call for the 240. So the question is, how often is he going to call the extra 100 if we go all in versus how often is he going to fold when we go for less? And when our opponents bet pot, or if they overbet on the river, there's a pretty good chance that they have that premium hand as well, even though the odds of it being the case aren't that likely. So I actually think I prefer going all in here and going for max value in game, because I wasn't sure if my opponent was going to play more conservatively because they had 200 big blinds. They're sitting with $400, where normally this is a player who sits with like $150 to $200, and they may be more conservative. I just went for what I was quite confident was going to get me paid off, like 90% of the time in this situation. But I may have left some money on the table by not going for that last 120 because my opponent did indeed have not only the backdoor flush draw, but the second nut flush. And I think it's, even if he thinks, man, I think this guy would only check raise all in with the nut flush, I think he still clicks the call button because this hand just looks way too strong, and he would try to rationalize that I, slow played a set or something. Anyway, as long as you play the hand by getting to the river, you got the opportunity to go for that really thick value on the end, and it was a nice payday one way or the other, taking down $561, a 281 big blind pot. Kudos to you if you got the full 400 big blind pot that was available.
Pucks did.
Anyway, that is going to wrap up this quiz. This has been Evan Jarvis for PokerCoaching.com. I hope you enjoyed the quiz. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
My Russian accent is awful? Yeah, I mean, shit. I'm a fucking street kid from Los Angeles. The solver doesn't fold to a check shove. I'm not sure what the solver does to a check shove. I can find out. While I'm doing that, guys, new keyword. New keyword is going to be 66 bye-bye. Jerome deferring the coin toss there. It's funny because I was going to throw it to you, Jerome, because Pucks is running too hot right now. Go ahead and call, Pucks. Let's see here. 200 deep. We'll go simple. Small blind has no calls, so we already break the solver straight away. Can't run it. Solver probably never folded the check jam. I mean, certainly not this hand. But probably not folding 2-pair either. I warned you, Jerome. I warned you not to let him cut the juju. I warned you. Nice one, Bucks. You got it, buddy. You got it. All right, next quiz is going to be 1832. We'll do a little Uncle JL. Pass it on the next or a gift sub. So 10 for the next two contestants. Jerome Griswold Ivy? Absolutely. 1832. Oh, shit. 1832 is already done. I blew it. Hang on. I'm gonna do 1860. All right, let's do this. Ready? We got draw winners. Shit. Winner number 1 is bang sneak. Winner number 2, bang, Mr. Carter. All right, Julie, let's do this. Ready, set, go.
Here we have the pocket aces under the gun in a $10,000 buy-in tournament. A loose, aggressive, battling opponent who's very, very good raises it up under the gun. Should we call, re-raise to 6,000, re-raise to 8,000, or re-raise to 12,000?
Here we go. Lots of 8s out there. Lots and lots of 8s out there. Lots and lots and lots of 8 out there. Carter going 8. Julian going 8. Everybody going 8. Let's do 8.
This is definitely not a spot to get tricky or do anything out of the ordinary. This is a scenario where you just want to put in a regular re-raise. So what is a regular re-raise in this spot? Well, it's going to be about 3-ish times the initial raise, or perhaps a little bit more because we are very deep stacked. If we were shallower stacked, like let's say 50 big blinds, we'd probably make it something like 6,000. But with over 100 big blinds, we are going to put in a re-raise to something like 8,000 just to get full value and build a pot immediately. And also, it's nice whenever the opponent raises under the gun because they're going to continue way more often than when they raise from, let's say, the cutoff, right? Just because they're going to have a much stronger range. Now, this particular opponent is definitely loose and aggressive, so they may be raising slightly wider than GTO recommends from early position, but even then, they should still have a pretty good hand the vast majority of the time, so I expect to get called or re-raised very frequently in this spot. They call, flop comes queen 9-2, they check. Should we check, bet 8,000, bet 14,000, or bet 20,000?
All right. See better know or what size? And what size? Snap 8 for praying. More 8s. Stream this quiz is easy. Oh, there's Shadow with 14. Kept coming in with 14. And then everybody else going 8. Carter 8. 8 for Julian. I can say between 8 and 14. Got a few 14s in there. 14 for Dennis. I'd argue we're almost never going half pot in this exact spot. I'm torn, to be honest with you. If that deuce was a little higher, I would most certainly be going 14. I mean, we do block ace queen. He's looking to have all the suited queens, right? And then a lot of like king 10, jack 10, king jack, like all that stuff with the PTSD jamming. Why? How could this go bad? You have the ace of diamonds. Somewhere in the 10, says Julia. Yeah, I would either bet small or bet big. One extreme or the other here. Like I said, if that 2 was a 6, I'm definitely betting big. 6 is close enough to the 9 that there's a lot of gut shots, and the 9 between the queens got a lot of gut shots, like we said, Jack 10, King Jack. 8 10 suited. I think I would instinctively go hate here, but if JL says 14, that starts to make a lot of sense here as well. That's what I'm thinking. Because of the 2 Dingleberry. A lot of draws on this board. Let's get it at. Everyone said 8 for the most part, though. Let's do it.
This flop is good enough for us. We are going to be betting and not trying to fold this hand. Yeah, we lose to sets and queen 9 suited, but that's it. The opponent could easily have any sort of queen, any sort of draw, even though we do have the ace of diamonds. So we're going to want to bet medium in this scenario. I don't think we want to go too big, like over the size of the pot, because at that point the opponent will start folding out pretty much all under pairs that I really want to keep in, and also various floats like gut shots, right? And I don't really care if he stays in with a gut shot out of position. So I think in this spot, we either want to bet something like 8,000 or 14,000. I think maybe 10,000 is ideal, really. 8,000 feels a little bit small. 14 feels a little bit big. I think something like 10 is probably good. Of the options I gave, I think 8 is probably just going to be better because the pot's already starting to get decently big, and we don't need to bet big on the flop to grow the pot substantially because the pot was 3-bet pre-flop, so we'll be able to get it in by the river just by betting flop, betting turn, and betting the river if we feel inclined. So I think 8,000 bet's pretty nice. That's going to keep him in with all sorts of stuff. This is also a loose, splashy, sticky player who doesn't really like folding, so as long as we don't make it too big, they're going to stick around really wide, which is obviously great when I have the aces. So we go 8,000. He calls, turns a 4 of clubs. He checks. Should we check, bet 12,000, bet 22,000, or bet 34,000?
What does the machine say? Button raised to 8 is good. Call, queen, 9, deuce of clubs. Check. The machine says between quarter and half pot. What are we doing? What are we doing? Lots of 22s. Lots of 22s. 34 for Cyrus. 34 for Bubba Booey. Pot, bitches! Lots of 22s. Lots of 22s. So lots of 22s. 22 for Julian, and I'm looking for Carter. I don't see him yet. $22 for Carter. 22 for both. Yeah, I think I'm going 22. I think pot starts to push out the draws. 22 seems good. And I also think in this configuration, like if this was against big blind, we might have more of a pot because this 4 of clubs brings in a lot more straights. When we're against under the gun, this 4 of clubs doesn't change the board enough because they don't have a lot of the weird straight draws here, right? They have maybe ace 3 and ace 5 suited, and then they don't ever have 3-5, right? So I think 22 is best.
This flop is...
Sorry. Let's try it. Let's find out.
Normally, when there are 2 flush draws available, you want to bet on the big side to really try to get full protection and to charge the draws. But this is an interesting spot where we have the ace of diamonds, right? So we block a lot of the logical diamonds the opponent could have, so we don't have to be so worried about that draw. And yeah, there are some backdoor flush draws available, but whatever. There aren't all that many of them. So in this scenario, the opponent's just very likely to have a queen or a 9 or some sort of pair. So I think we want to go medium again, keeping in mind we want to be able to set up a shove on the river. So if we go 34 for pot and the opponent calls, the pot will be 100. We'll have 70 left. So at that point, we'll be shoving 2/3 pot. That's fine and good, but the turn bet's a little bit big. If we instead go something like 22 and the opponent calls, the pot's going to go up to about 80, and we're going to have about 80 behind, which I think is actually pretty nice. That's going to make it look like we are trying to polarize our range and perhaps get full fold equity with busted draws, and obviously there's going to be a lot of busted draws available on the river. So I think that's probably fine. Also, 22 may keep the opponent in with lots of underpairs still, just trying to be a little bit sticky and trying to realize equity. Although, maybe that's not the case. I'm not sure. Anyway, he checks. I like 22,000. You definitely don't want to go small like 12 because then you won't be able to get a big river bet in. We do go 22. He calls. If he jams us, we're going to call it off. If he check raised the flop, we would have called and then called a turn shove. Look, we're just not trying to fold here against a good, strong battling opponent. And to be fair, on this board, you're not really trying to fold against anyone unless they are very weak, tight, straightforward, and nitty. River's a 5. Okay. Should we check, bet 20,000, bet 40,000, or go all in?
All right, we're here. This is a 3-bet pocket. I don't know if you heard me. 12K, way too small. Look at all these draws and stuff out here. Queen X, and we're so deep. All of the ends. I always like how Jonathan says a lot. If he jams us. If he jams us. If he jams us. I always think that's like the weirdest sentence. If he jams us. Not if he jams on us, but if he jams us. Carter all in. Julian all in. Everybody all in. Yeah, I mean, we're just all in, right? All the draws missed. We're only getting paid by his Queen X and stuff and jams. It's good. Jam. 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 Just jam it.
We are very happily, very comfortably all in the spot. We have the best hand almost every time. There's also a lot of busted draws, which is going to result in us getting called a large chunk of the time. I suppose I wish we bet a little bit bigger either on the flop or the turn. That would make the pot size just a little bit bigger, which I think is probably a little bit better. But I think our only option here is to shove. If you think for some reason your opponent's going to fold out a queen if you shove, like you think they're going to make a really nitty fold, then I suppose half pot may be better. But I think in this spot, we mostly want to be shoving or checking with the majority of our range. I don't think there's a whole lot of room when we have just a little bit more than the size of the pot to go for a half pot bet size for marginal value with a hand like, I don't know, let's say we had pocket jacks or queen 10 offsuit we decided to 3-bet, or queen 10 suited we decided to 3-bet, whatever. This is a spot where I think we probably just want to check those back instead of going for half pot against a good, strong opponent. So in this spot, I'm either shoving or I'm checking, and this is definitely a hand that's good enough to shove. So I shove, and he instantly folded. Probably had some sort of busted draw. So, nothing we could do in this scenario. But, we got a decent amount of value and a decent amount of protection on the early betting round. So that's good.
There we go. There we go. Another swish. You guys are killing it today. Absolutely killing it today. We need a flip. Julian, heads or tails? Heads or tails? Tails. All right, here we go. Bang! Julian nailing it. Carter, GG's. Lose the flip in the end. Congratulations, Julian. $5 goes to you. Let me know how to send it to you. Oh, I know how to send it to you. Send it to your wife. Take it back. Right? Or was that Ascension? Maybe, actually, I think that was Ascension that sends it to his wife. Let me know how to send you the $5 there. Oh, no, this is 10. Shit, this is a $10 one. Make a note. Make a note. Good job, guys. 2 switches in a row. Unbelievable. All right, guys, let's do another one. I think we got time for one more. New keyword, GL66. Yours was not $10, you savage. Pucks rolled his over. Here it comes. Why are you going to do that? I'm going to show !PC in the chat. Bang! There's a link to sign up for this site for free. You can do all these quizzes almost, or a little over 1,900 of them. You get big blind charts for 100 blinds or more and some homework assignments. !PC Discord for the best Discord in the business. Study groups, cash game, history rooms, strategy rooms, guests, 6 study groups for free a week, all that kind of stuff. If you like this one, you want to see this one from the beginning or anyone we've ever done in the past with 6s when he's usually here, a lot of guests. We've had Ed Jarvis, we've had Tristan Wade, we've had not JL, we've had Ed Jarvis, Tristan Wade, Faraj Jaga, Greg Raymer, Jesse Sylvia, Bet on Drew, Fat Train. We've had Lappy, all those on the YouTube channel. Bang. Get in, all of you. Get in for free. Crack poker. I like it. I like it. There's all the shilling. I fly to Vegas for a home cooked meal. Mrs. Toe's a decent cook, too. She's good. She is good. You got to feed this giant. I'm a big dude. So I got to have a good cook for a wife. Just got to fuel all of this. All right, let's find a quiz. Let's find a quiz. 1822. All right. 22-hour drive? Sheesh. In one day? Sheesh. Contrast. That is funny as hell. $7 hours, Matt. It's like 12 minutes to the strip for me. All right, winner number 1, main client is up. Let me find room on my sheet here. Main client versus... Oh, shit, it's Skater Die. All right, guys. Let's do it, Skate. Put you in, coach. Good luck, main client. Let's go. We're going to have main up on the main screen. We'll have Skate on the side screen. Let's do this.
All right, Poker Coaching. Another hand from the WSOP $500 circuit main. Action folds around to the button, who has 10,000 chips left. They min raise. What should you do here with 2 4s? Should you fold? Should you call? Should you raise to 3,800 or should you go all in?
He said 38, but it's 36 here on the choices. Kept calling right away. Praying calling right away. Shadow Knight calling right away. Kept misclick call. Wished he ripped it. Main client call him. Calling for Julian. Couple of jams, lots of calls. Skater die column. No ICM. And we're, what, like 20, we'll call it 25? Matt calls. PJ, better late than never, buddy. Check out the YouTube channel. You can watch it all. Timestamp the video, ask a question. I'll be glad to answer. Yeah, this is going to be pure jam. All our pairs here. Ace 8-0 and better. Weak suited aces. Suited paint for 25. All just pure all-ins here. Here it is. You want to see it? On 25 bigs. Pure all of the ins. Let's do this at 30. 30 bigs. Pure all ins. Similar range. Jammy, 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 jammies. Button range is wide. This hand does not flop well. And we're in that, like, I wouldn't say we're in the red zone. We're in like the orange zone, the yellow zone for our stack depth. Jam. 4 is mostly raising. It's the island, but you can just pure jam it. It's fine. Pure jam that. Take all the raise and put it into like King Jack suited. You're good. Court awareness, Julian. Court awareness. Pure jam. Main said call. Skate said call, I believe, too. It was conflicted. Call. All right, let's do it. Oh, no.
All right. This is a spot that I think some people get a little scared of.
And you both got
because
goosed.
we're going to risk our tournament life, possibly. And the good thing to think about is we're up against a button opening range that should have some raise folds, right? They don't always have to raise call here with 10,000 chips behind. They almost have 20 bigs here, like 17, 18 bigs. So we don't have to be so worried about them always raise calling us. Now, what about this person behind us with 45,000? We don't really need to worry about them either because we're going to force their hand to have a big hand to call us, and maybe they even fold a marginal hand that might even be slightly better than us, like 5, 6s, something like that. And then we hope they fold a lot of hands that would coin flip with us, like suited broadways,
if you want to see the chart again,
ace 10, that kind of stuff.
all your pairs.
Not saying everyone will fold those hands, but mostly will.
Purple is jam.
So folding, calling aren't an option. Re-raising to 3,600 is an option because we got this weak hand. If this person called or raised, we'd have to get out of there. If this person shoved on us, that would suck. So really the only play here is to go all in. And that's going to work out and get 2 folds. And I'm also going to show you something.
You can also get called by worst.
1 second.
Ace jack, ace 10, ace queen.
All right, one cool thing about poker coaching is in the tools section we have charts that showed what to do pre-flop with certain hands and certain stack sizes. And this is a scenario when the button raises, we're going to be all in 14% of hands. And look at the distribution of these hands. It's our really weaker hands, like small pairs. You know, all pairs are typically all in here. But once you get the 9s and 10s and jacks, you can start 3-betting to induce a little bit because you're going to get called by much weaker hands. But then we have some suited aces that we're happy shoving because they have really good equity and they force a lot of folds. And when called, they're still decent. And then some, poor suited, unsuited aces here that sometimes we're calling with. So we do have not many calls, only 6%. You kind of see what that distribution looks like as well. Offsuit, decent hands. Suited, decent hands. But we're mostly folding a lot, and our only 3 bets are really going to be some of those really strong hands that we want to 3-bet. Jacks, queens, kings, aces, ace, king. But yeah, hopefully this quiz with this little advice will help you how to play this spot and play future spots that you find yourself in.
I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to let this go too. We're going to roll this right into another quiz. Because I can't let a double goose egg determine the winner here. But let me show you something. So yeah, definitely jamming. If you're folding here or doing anything different, you're making a massive mistake. You're losing a ton of value. And you can still get called by worse, like I said. King, queen suited, ace, king, ace, queen, ace, jack, you're ahead. Take the flip. And you only have 20 bigs. Like, you have fold equity, you can get called by worse. This is a massively profitable jam here. So you are definitely making a giant mistake if you do anything else. By far. Easy jam. Snap jam. And now you said it we could call we're in shitty. No, we're ahead. We're ahead. Sometimes you're going to run into it. Sure. But a lot of times you're going to get a lot of folds. You're going to be ahead. And if you do anything different, now you're on a flop that's almost certainly going to have overs. And you're going to be in a shitty space. And I can show you here with ICMizer too. This is the same spot setup. I mean, look, you're printing almost 1 big per 100. This is a massive number. This is a massive number. We don't want to edge pass on this. If you want to edge pass on like 9-7 suited because it's pretty close to break even, cool. 7-6 suited, 8-7 suited. You want to edge pass on these because these are close to break even, cool. Ace-8 suited off, close to break even, cool. But you're losing a lot of value by not jamming these pairs. Tons, heaps, tons, truckloads. All right, cool. So since it was a double goose egg, we're gonna roll this right into 1830 with the same 2 contestants. No ICM either. ICM would definitely make this a fold. But there was no ICM in this spot. All right, so we said 1830. All right, let's roll this right in. We got main event again against Skate or Die. Let's do it.
What's up, Poker Coaching? Tristan Wade here. Another quiz from the $500 WSOP circuit.
Oh, sorry. One quick thing. Why 9-10 suited? It's going to have some blocker effect based on his range. Also, because we're jamming 9s, 10s, ace 10, ace 9, you match your bluffs with your value. So since you're doing ace 9, ace 10, 10s, 9s, king 10, like those 9-10 becomes your bluff because it matches your value.
Action folds to us. We have ace king coming for a raise. And the big blind, who only has 10 big blinds, defends. This is the flop. They check. What would you do here? Would you check? Would you bet 1,000? Bet 2,000? Or go all in?
All right, here we go. I showed you E-Spirit. At 30, you're jamming all those pairs. $1K. Small bets for everybody. I mean, look at 30, guys. You're still making 2/3 of a deck. This is still a massive ass number. Not folding. Ace-8 becomes a fold now. This stuff's super marginal now. But 4 is printing money. Printing money by jamming at 30 bigs. Oh, I didn't recognize this. This is the Limpy Collie guy. 1 from the earlier quiz today, and I didn't realize his stack size. I would have done something different. Lots of small bets. Lots and lots of small bets too. It's main event and Skate or Die. So main event going 1, or main client, my bad, going 1K. And who's the other one? Skate or Die. Skate or Die going with the all-in. No tie this time. Ooh, you going all in. $1K for Skate or Die. So $1K for Skate or Die, $1K for main client. This is a little weird because of the stack depth and the coordination of the board. I think that's about it. Cool. The guys go 1K. So yeah, this is one of those weird boards where I think we would size up a lot. The gap, there's a lot of draws here, a lot of straight draws, a lot of gut shots, a lot of flush draws. He's got a lot of KX in a 3-bet pot. So we would size up. The stack depth is weird. I don't think jamming here is terrible. I don't think it's the right answer, but I don't think it's terrible. It's a little over pot, right? And this guy is probably going to still call with his draws, I think, this particular player. So I don't think jamming is horrible. I don't think it's the best option. 1K is interesting. Normally we would size up on this board. 1K is big for his stack, though. So that's interesting. I think I would lean to. Yeah. And the bigger we go overdue, the less incentivized they are to jam in general, except this time he's only got, if we bet 2, he's only got 3K behind, right? Maybe it is 1K considering his stack size. That is big for his stack. Normally I would size up to 2K if he had, let's say, equal chips. Let's find out what Tristan says. Yeah, I like it.
Huge hand we flopped. Top pair, backdoor nut flush draw. We're up against a very short stack who only has less than 2x pot behind. So if you want to check here, I give you 9 points for that. Because I think we're at like top of our range. We can totally check and hope that they catch up somehow. Other great option is just to bet 1,000. They will have a lot of middling hands that will call any pair, any straight draw. So I bet third pot, 10 points. 2,000 is just too excessive. You don't need a big bet size here against this stack size when we have this strong of a hand. And then going all in just shouldn't be a thing. Even though they're short stacked, we have such a strong hand here, we want to try to lure them in. So going all in would really force a lot of the weaker hands to fold. Let's say someone has 5, 6, 6, 7, that they might not call it off with an open ender here. They don't call it off with bottom pair, but they call a bet. So, yep, I think checking or betting 1,000 is great. I went with the latter. And we get called. Turn card comes a 3 of clubs. They check. What should you do now? Should you check? Should you bet 1,200 or go all in?
So yeah, we size up on this board a lot when the stack depths are different because there's a gajillion, billion, jillion draws on here. And we want to get max value before 10, 7, Queen, Jack, Diamond come off. And we're in either freezes us up or freezes them up, right? But because, again, chord awareness, right, Julian? Chord awareness with this guy being so shallow, the 1K bet is actually a big bet when it's, 20% of your stack when you have 5K behind, all right? We bet the 1K and get called. What's the plan now? Julian balancing his folding range. Bunch of jams, bunch of jams, bunch of jams. I'm just betting half the stack. 1,200 for Dennis. Sneaky, sneaky. Lots of jams. Lots of jams. Main client jamming. Skate jamming. Why wouldn't they jam with a draw? Good question, which makes them more pair heavy, right, PJ? But this guy is limpy passive. We've done one more quiz today with this guy. He's really limpy. He limped on 8 bigs before, right? And so definitely not beyond him. I mean, on his stack depth, he should be check jamming any value hand. Right? I mean, he's got no bigs behind. Check. Let him bluff, says Verdue. Interesting. Skate and main just jamming it. I mean, jamming is not wrong here. I would jam here sometimes for sure. Checking is also, again, I'm kind of leveling here. We do have a diamond and we do have a club, making his draws less likely. Someone said that in the chat earlier, which makes him more pair heavy. I also know that when we bet, we 3-bet before against this particular player, right? And then we checked and he jammed. And on this stacked up with less than MSPR than 1, I think he's going to jam a lot of rivers, particularly with his missed draws if he's playing those passively. And he may even jam like a 9. So checking actually has a little bit of merit to me. Jamming seems totally good in standard as well. Checking seems very, 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 very viable to me, especially because we don't really care too much about what comes on the river at this point. We're just gonna. I mean, 4K is going in. Both contestants jam though. Let's find out. That's also good in standard as well. Oh, he likes a small bet.
Okay, same principles
Checking
from
and small
the
bet is
flop
okay.
still apply. This person has less than a pot bet. We have a super strong hand. We are just trying to get all the money in somehow, some way. So if you want to check here, I hate it. Like, sure, you could essentially just check and trap and call anything, like, fine. I just think after we bet the flop, should just keep betting most of the time. But I shouldn't give that a 0, but I do. I think checking with the intention to trap now too is fine too, since we might check back Queen Jack or Jack 10 or some hands that want to realize equity. So I shouldn't be that mean to people who want to check, because you could still trap for sure. And maybe that's a cool thing here. I just don't think we really do it. But betting 1,200 becomes my favorite option here. I give you 10 points for that because I think, why not just keep up with these small, like even one big blind bet here, 600 if we wanted to choose, to just lure them in, to make them think they have fold equity, whatever the case. And then if you do just go all in here, I think it's fine. You're basically betting 80% pot, and I give you 7 points for that. But maybe checking and betting small, giving our opponent a little rope to hang themselves, and us really not caring what the river card comes would be a good option. But I went with a small one, and we somehow get called again, which I guess is what we wanted here. And the river is a 4 of diamonds, and our opponent checks. Now what should you do? Should we check? Should we bet 1,000 or go all in?
The draw got there. This is a weird one, right? Like, Tristan's definitely exploiting this player by milking him. Jamming standard. 7 points seems okay. I probably would have given it maybe an 8. Checking, I don't think, is the worst thing in the world. That part. He said I shouldn't have given it a 0, but I did. I don't think it's worth a 0. Jamming more standard. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're giving Wild Skate because it's stacked up so short that we don't really give a fuck. Right? Like, we're calling off. It doesn't matter. There's no scenario here where we're not getting all the chips in. It's a little weird when the diamond comes. But, I mean, it's 3K with a 8K pot. This has got to be a jam, I imagine. It's definitely not bet 1,000. We never have small bets in position. So, check or jam are the options. I'll give you that. I think most of you guys already answered because I just kind of gave that one away. Yeah, he put himself in a little bit of a weird spot here, right? Yeah, if we're 40 effective, it's definitely a way sillier line. He's specifically targeting this weak limpy collie player with a wink little stack. Check and scoop. Check and scoop. This one's gonna be a tie. I imagine we jam. Check and max, let's get a die. There's one. Oh, man. Oh, all right. Let's check it and find out. Yeah, too many chips in there.
Only wrong move here is to check. We can never check at this point. We have the best hand. Doesn't matter if a flush got there. Who cares? We got top pair, top kicker. They only have a third of the pot bet left, so we can't check. Betting 1,000, I give you 0 points. If you wanted to be a miser up until the river, please, now is not the time to shortchange your pocketbook. So betting 1,000 just shouldn't be a thing. Maybe 2,000 I'd give you 10 points for because, it keeps pod with 1.5 big blinds and it keeps them in the tournament. That's a little more realistic. It's not as frugal. But going all in should really be the play for value here. We've gotten to them at this point. They've committed all these chips. Will they really fold an 8 or 9 at this point? who knows? But let's go for value. So we do go all in, and our opponent folds. So maybe we milk them for a lot. Maybe we would have found a spot to get them to bluff if we check back at some point. So I thought this hand was pretty interesting, dealing with small bets in a short stack. Yeah, fun times studying poker.
I think he folded 3 bigs behind. This guy needs to hire Tristan as a coach. Holy shit. Holy shit. Yeah, but you still want to give yourself the opportunity to win more skate or die, right? Absolutely. Corn Wi-Fi on the cob. Holy shit. This was the time. Main event. Or main event. Why do I keep calling you main event? I'm sorry about that. Main client. Call it. Heads or tails? Heads or tails? Tails. All right. It's been tails every time today. And this time's no different. All righty. All the tails one day. Damn. That shit's crazy. That shit's crazy. All right. Main event. Fucking hell. Main client. Let me know how I can send you $5. ACR, PayPal, Carrier Pigeon, Wells Fargo, some way. Message me privately and let me know. All right, guys. That's a wrap. We did it. Study stream. We missed 6s. Make sure to give that crazy 6s a follow. He is my partner in crime, even though he is not here today. He is playing live. There's a follow for him. If you want to see this one from the beginning or any of the hundreds of them we've done in the past with all esteemed guests, me, 6s, me, 6s and guests, me and guests, me and 6s and guests, all that shit here, bang, at the YouTube channel. Check it out. And I don't know why that link to, oh, that's because Praying got it for me. PC Discord, there it is in the scroll up. Free Discord, study rooms. General chat, giveaways. A lot of these coaches show up. We have some of them coming up in the recent future for the tournament study groups coming up. We just did one with the cash one with Brad Wilson. We have Evan Jarvis on this study stream, March 11th. So check all that out. And I think that's fucking it. God damn it. All right, I'm going to throw the host. And I am going to get that prepared. Throwing the host over to my good buddy Rodney. Mr. Quick Question Now. Give him some love. And that's it. I'll see you later. Peace.